happy 2-year-old Tuesday, and I am excited because I have Tyler Gaffalione sitting right beside me, right there, fresh off his performance at the PDGAF karaoke at Saratoga. We can show a little bit of this, but lead us into what this performance was all about, what it meant to you. I like that you went for it with the gold chains.
We had to go all out for it, but it's for a great cause. We're out there,
Yes.
kind of embarrassing ourselves, but it's a lot of fun. Everybody gets out. We all get to kind of let loose a little bit, and
Of
it's a
course.
great experience.
Of course. Now, who we all got on stage here?
So this is Julian Leperoux, Flavian Pratt, and Florent Drew, and myself.
I love it. Well, Julian's wife can really sing. Did she coach you at all?
We probably should have had a few more hours with her.
So, we only have so much time on the show and everything, but if you all want to check it out, you can check this footage, the entire, I think, night, really, of all the performances for the Riders Up PDJF Karaoke on Horse Racing Nation's YouTube page. It's great. I did watch most of it. I know that Jose came away with the win. Question for you, how is it for you guys getting up there singing? I mean, you're used to being on these 1,000-pound animals going cruising speeds, and here now you're performing in a different way. Do you get nerves, or once you've done the other, this really doesn't feel like anything?
I think this was or at least my 4th or 5th year doing it. The first 2 years I was scared to death.
Really?
But, it's gotten easier over time.
You can ride a horse that has a total mind of its own, but getting up with a microphone is a little unnerving.
It's just something about it. On the racetrack, you're out on the track. Your focus is a horse, but out there, everything's on you. So it's a little different.
Well, you talked about what a great cause this is for, of course, the PDJF, the Permanently Disabled Jockey Foundation. You also participated in something else that's very important for riders, for mental health awareness. Can you tell us what that was like this afternoon?
It's great that the guild and HESA are taking that step to bring this to everyone's awareness. A lot of people do struggle with it, and it's great that we're finally finding the right help.
Did you hear anything today that really made you pause, something maybe you hadn't considered before?
Yeah, of course, but I'm sure a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah, no, I think that's very important. You see what you all have to go through. You all have to be in peak physical condition, while also minding how much you can weigh, while also minding being in these situations where it can oftentimes be life and death in races, and also taking criticisms from people and maybe feeling like what decisions you make impact so many others. But people have to understand, you're human beings and you are doing the best you can, period. And for everybody involved. And so I think it's very important, and it's not spoken about enough, what you all go through. And so I commend the efforts to put that together today. Again, there was a meeting there at Saratoga for mental health awareness. We also have a comment for you. David Adam Scott says, blessings. My question for Tyler: if Colorado builds it, will you come? If Colorado builds the Ascot on steroids of the USA, the ultimate championship tracks, will you come race a mile high?
I'll ride anywhere. We're not scared to travel.
All right, I love it. Although he's right. I mean, with the air density, it could probably get a little tough, I would think.
Yeah, definitely something to consider.
Something to consider. We have, let's see here. Oscar saying, how can a person listen to it? If I think you might be talking about the mental health awareness. If you're talking about the PDJF karaoke, that is on, again, Horse Racing Nation's YouTube page. Is there a place where people can watch the conference, or no?
Not that I know of. There might be, but not at the moment.
Okay. Is there a web page for them, or a Twitter page?
If anything, it would be on HESA. We were sent emails.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, there you go, Oscar. Let's see. Good evening, Mr. Gaffalione and Ren Carruthers. Big fan. Does Tyler have any specific Breeders' Cup mount he might be looking forward to? And congratulations for winning last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Thank you. Well, before you answer that, see, this is the thing, right? Not only do you kick things off in last year's Breeders' Cup on Future Stars Friday with that win aboard Wonder Wheel, but then the next day you upset the apple cart and you won on Caravel in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. I mean, and that's your big filly right now. I mean, she goes against the boys and throws it down. You guys just won the Jaipur.
She's impressive. That was a nice surprise last year when she took down the turf sprint, but she came back so great this year. She's had 3 great runs. She's aiming for the Troy Stakes. I believe that's next week. So we're all very excited.
I think it's the 5th. The 5th, and I'll be there.
That sounds about right.
I mean, I have a replay of her winning the sprints, but I'm going to close out the show with it just because I feel like it's a fitting
good way to end it.
It's a fitting, yeah. So we'll talk about some other horses that you've been riding. I don't know where we should go first. Let's go with the 2-year-old filly. How about that? We'll talk about Elise Beach for Tom Amos. And she just came out and won at first asking. When you're riding a 2-year-old, how differently do you approach it from riding a seasoned horse that basically you've had familiarity with? You kind of understand their quirks if they have any. With the first-time starter, had you been on her in the mornings at all?
Yes, I was able to work her one time before she ran. It definitely helps being able to get a little familiar with them, learn some of their habits, their quirks. But you have to take a much different approach when riding a first-time starter as to an older horse that's run a couple times. You know, they've already kind of shown how they want to run. They've figured out where they're comfortable within a race. The first-time starter, you kind of have to go within the race. You have to react to how they are.
So once you're breaking out of the gate here, what clicks in your mind as a rider aboard a filly like this?
A filly like this, Tom actually thought that she would be a little further off the pace. He thought she would have more of a finish. She broke really alertly, and I probably could have went towards the leaders, but I gave her a chance to get underneath herself, and she traveled really well throughout the race, coming in the stretch.
I really went too far back, I think. You're right. I thought I was right there.
There's a delay in the gate. One of the horses on the inside were acting up pretty bad.
Well, that's another thing. You guys have to stand there often, while this is going on.
And that helps within the mornings. Trainers taking them to school, the gates of school. They break up and stand a few times, so they get more comfortable.
And there you are on the 6th horse. That's Elise Beach or Ali's Beach.
One of them.
We'll go with Ali's Beach. Why not? And
she's a beach girl.
Well, I was watching the broadcast, and it was funny because Tom came on later as one of the analysts on the Saratoga Live, and he was just beaming, man. I mean,
it was very exciting.
What was the feedback from you and with him?
I thought it was a great race. I love the move that she made coming down the lane, down inside. It's a tough position to be in for a first-time starter, but she handled everything great. Didn't shy away. Doesn't hesitate. I see a bright future for her.
Well, that's awesome. Do you know what he's going to point her toward next? Are we gonna?
I haven't heard anything yet.
Up the ante, or?
Sure, my agent will have an idea within the next few days, depending on how she comes out of the race.
There you go. You've been riding a lot of really nice youngsters. I know there've been some in state bred. There's one that you won aboard, and it was a state bred. I believe it was a state bred race. I just want to know the background of. I just want to know the name, Jimmy the Tooth. What is this horse about?
So from what I heard, it's a dentist that's up here in New York, Jimmy and Jimmy the Tooth.
Oh, there you go.
That's what I heard, at least.
That's all you need to know. Now, this is a horse. This was his 3rd start. All of his races have been against New York World Competition, sprinting on the turf course, and he's been close. He was 3rd on debut, then 2nd. This was the first time you gotten aboard him, and you guys managed to wire. It was his 2nd time out with blinkers. What were your impressions of him? And do you think this is a horse you could go in against open company?
I do. I actually spoke with Mike after the race, and I thought he would benefit from a little more distance as well. He's pretty sharp, but his gallop out was great. He was just trying to figure things out towards the end of the race.
How much input do you feel comfortable giving after a race? Because I know, there's the trainer and there's the owner, but do you ever just, you're the rider, you're the one on the back. I mean,
I try to say what I feel. It's in the best interest of the horse and the connection. So whether they want to take it or not, that's up to them. But we're trying to build on and do the best we can, really.
Right. It's like a team effort.
Exactly.
So let's talk about your win in the Amsterdam aboard New York Thunder.
This is
This
crazy.
yeah. So I got the race here. You can just take us through it. I'll shut up. And I think I've got this here. You're going into the gate.
Perfect timing.
All right. So take us through, because I took out the audio. There's Vermont. Oh no, there is Spring Vermont.
So I had a great post position, drawing the outside. Figured we'd break and see where everybody else was. The horse next to me, Rivet, he was the other speed besides the horse on the fence, Drew's Gold.
Who was even money.
Rivet wound up stumbling the first stride, so we outbroke him, and I peeked to my inside, and I had Drew's Gold outrun about half a length. So I kind of let my horse out a little bit, and we went a lot quicker than I thought. I figured we went 22:44 and change, but he was just doing it so easy. I didn't want to take too much away from him, and he got comfortable, so I just kind of let him be.
And that's the thing. You don't, when your horse is doing something well within themselves, it really then becomes, okay, why do you want to fight them or take out what they're feeling on that given day, right?
Exactly. And I heard a quote from Mike Smith not too long ago. It said, why take away their best attribute? And in this case, it's this horse's speed. So just
nice.
Stay out of his way.
And right here, you're trying to get him to switch off on leads, right?
Yeah, I tried about 2 times at the top of the stretch. He was a little hesitant, so I just kind of went on with him, and he eventually switched over. I think he was just getting comfortable.
And for those who don't ride, when we're talking about switching leads, how difficult is it, or how easy is it, depending on the horse, to get them to do that?
Some horses are automatic. You kind of lean a little bit and they'll pop over. Some you have to kind of throw them over, I would say. They're a little more hesitant, so you have to force them. But it's in their own it's in their own best interest. It's so they can have a fresh leg to have a little more finish with.
Exactly. I mean, I can't tell you how many times poor Matt's had to listen to me when I'm watching Tampa and I'm screaming at my laptop because I'm watching the feed. I'm going, change your lead down this stretch. Just change your lead, because you'll see your horse on the front and then they're just starting to tire. You're like, you just need to switch.
And see, there was a race on Saturday. I rode a horse I've been riding for a long time, old pro, but he's very hesitant to switch. And a couple races back, I thought it cost us that he didn't switch. So I was very keen on getting him to switch the other day. And you don't know if it cost him or if it helped him. We wound up getting beat in nose that afternoon. And it's just one of those things you think about,
Do you think, because here's the thing, right? You guys, these horses are being worked in the morning. They're going around their circle, right? I know over at Green Tree, they can work, at least they used to be able to. I don't know if this is still the case. I think it is. They can work both sides. And then, obviously in Europe, they can hack the horses and train in a different way. Seattle Slew even did some dressage. Like they would like work both sides, because in that discipline, they always say, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So do you think it would be beneficial for these horses to be able to work both sides to be as supple?
I would have to say yes. I mean, for myself, I know as a rider, I want to be as strong with my left hand as I am with my right hand. Same with my feet, legs, anything really. So I can only imagine it'd be the same for horses.
Yeah, it'd be nice if something could be figured out for that, because I also think that would contribute to more soundness in the horses as well.
Most definitely, more balanced.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite circuit at which to ride? I mean, obviously, you've been riding lights out across multiple tracks, but is there one in particular you just look forward to it?
I love Keeneland and Kentucky Downs, so I would say those are my 2 favorite race courses.
The undulating turf course.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's so unique. It's 7 days, all turf. Great money, great fans. It's a lot of fun.
Is there a key to that racetrack that you've cracked?
No, it really just depends on the horse. Within 5-6 strides if they like it or if they don't. And if they don't, it's a long ways around there.
Yeah. Well, we got some more comments here. Oscar's back with asking, does Tyler have any Breeders' Cup mounts this year? Well, I would say you do. I'll let you talk for yourself.
As of now, we have quite a few pointing towards the Breeders' Cups. Caravel, pretty mischievous. We have a couple 2-year-olds. We'll see what happens with them.
What 2-year-olds? It's the
Uh,
Future Stars forecast, though.
there was Philly for Brad Cox Guitar Racing. She ran on either Kentucky Derby or Kentucky Oaks Day.
Oh,
She won
okay.
a stake pretty impressively. She's 2 for 2. She's had a little bit of time off now, but she should be coming back soon.
Okay. And then is there another one that you got in the Rolodex there, or?
We have a few upcoming, but I don't want to say too much yet.
Okay. We'll keep. But when you can talk about it, you have to come back.
Of course.
So, okay. And then, like you said, Caravelle, but totally put in a tremendous performance. I gotta say.
Gunite.
Gunite. What am I saying?
And he was the horse that I was speaking of about switching leads.
Right.
I rode him in Dubai, I believe it was. Yes, he didn't switch that day and got beat just on the wire.
Look at me. I'm just thinking of speed. I'm just thinking of speed, and it totally came right to my head. Okay. Yes, good night. So why don't we watch that replay back? And I'm sorry if it hurt.
No. I've watched it a million times, believe me.
Okay. So you're contributing this to, because I only saw the race once, and when you have a 5-year-old in the background, it's easy to get kind of distracted. So he didn't change the leads as efficiently as you were hoping.
Not as smooth as I would have liked.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Maybe they'll start doing some dressage with him on the side. And then
I think the track had a little bit to do with it. It was a very different race course that day.
Really?
They fielded it. It was just very hard.
It had been. I can't remember. I know you guys have had some different weather systems going through and whatnot. And
yeah, it started raining about midday. We got it pretty hard for a little bit.
Okay, so go ahead and take us through.
So right now I'm probably in about the 4 path. I should be laying second. Yes. And right here, I'm having a hard time just kind of getting him underneath himself. He's kind of spinning his wheels a little bit. Had to ask him a little more than I would like to hold my position here, but he finally starts taking me about right here and made the lead a little bit early, I would say, but when you've been asking a horse for a quarter of a mile to get underneath himself and he finally does, you can't take that away. So
no,
just kind of play the hand we're dealt, and he's traveling good. Haven't really had to ask him too much. And right here, try to get away from Elite Power. He's a strong finisher. I know he's going to be coming, so wanted to get the jump on him. And just like I said, my horse was a little hesitant to switch leads. I've already tried him twice. Right here, I wound up just throwing him over. And just a little awkward, and probably would have been better off staying on the outer part of the track that day.
And is that also because they were saying that 3 to 4 path was better, obviously, than the inside, from what I was hearing.
Yes, and most of the way I was probably in about the 4 path, but when I'm trying to get in the switch leads, obviously having to pull.
Yeah, he's going to do that.
And yeah, we just wound up down there.
Oh gosh, and the difference just
That's the thing, you just
the official
never know.
I know, you'll never know. But it's this is one of those things that it makes it exciting to watch, this potential rivalry going forward, right?
It's amazing. I was so proud of Gunite. Last time we faced each other, I believe he beat us about 6 or 7 lengths, so we're closing the margin a little bit.
And this is a horse. I mean, he just shows up. He shows up to play. I mean, if you look at the record, he's had 18 starts, 8 wins, 6 seconds, 2/3. He came back. He hadn't run since the Gold Shaheen, when he then came back off the layoff there at Churchill for the Aristides, and that was a tremendous win.
It was. He came back really good after the trip over there, and he ran a big race the other day. It's disappointing to lose, but I haven't lost any faith in him.
Well, that's what they say, right? A horse can put in a winning performance even when they lose. And so maybe if you had your fast track and everything going,
he has a great one coming. I know that.
I love hearing that. And the other thing that's just fun is, with this being Whitney weekend, gun runner, son of gun runner, it's really fun to see his progeny doing so well and in so many various ways. I mean, they sprint, they can go long, they do everything. And I know how much that horse means to Steve, having spoken with him a few times about Gun Runner. And again, going back to the Whitney, were you riding that day in the race? I don't recall. I'm sorry.
I was riding down in Florida at that time.
You were riding in Florida at the time. Well, because I was gonna say, like, if you were part of that race, because I that shoe coming off and landing in his tail was so crazy that I just can't imagine being in a race and worrying about like errant shoes coming flying at your head.
I've actually seen a few fly. It's a
Have you
sketchy
been hit
moment.
by one?
No, thankfully, knock on wood.
Gosh.
But I've heard stories of other riders being hit.
Oh, yeah, I can't imagine. So I mean, at least it was his tail and it wasn't
Yeah, very
it
fortunate.
wasn't Flo, right? I try to give him a nickname myself with Florent. I try to call him Flow Motion.
That's good.
I don't think it's stuck though.
Give it time.
And I try to call Flavian Flava Flav.
A couple of people, I've heard that one before.
But see, I felt bad because his name, it's Flavian. So I was actually kind of twisting it to my own desires so I could fit it into that nickname. Okay, I'll get serious now. Richard Alvilar, or Alviar, if it's a double L, maybe it's a Y sound. New York Thunder rolled. Ammo Racing owned Go Bears Go, yes, who finished second in the Breeders' Cup. Do you think he might make the Breeders' Cup?
He definitely has the talent, or he's shown that he has the talent. Well, got a little bit of ways between now and the Breeders' Cup, so we'll have to see what happens. But as long as he stays sound and healthy, I don't see it being an issue.
What is it like riding for Ammo Racing? How did that come about?
So that was actually so Georgie Delgado. I used to ride for him when I was riding in Florida full time. That was like 2017, 2018. He had just started training. We had quite a bit of success, and I rode a few for him throughout the years. And then,
sorry, my daughter.
No. And we linked up for this, and it was amazing to be able to win a great stake, especially up here for him.
No, that's cool. Like, have the owner? I don't want to try to mispronounce his name, but I know big time soccer figure in Europe.
Yes, that's what I've heard. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
exciting.
Well, the
some very nice horses.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. The Silks have the soccer player on them, don't they?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a white circle with a soccer player silhouette.
Well, I'll try. I think I might be able. Kia Drobshian. I believe he's Persian. I'm Iraqi. Right. We're like neighbors, so yeah.
Sounds all right.
Why not? Let's see here. Hello, Big Jock. Hey, Lon. We got Lazy Dog. He says, woof, woof, all love from North Cal, bottoms up. See, if I didn't know Lazy Dog by now, he's a friendly dog. I would have thought woof, woof was like an insult toward me or something. But we've had him on.
In this case, it's good.
Yeah, so woof, woof is good. Here we go. Yeah. What does Mr. Gaffalione think of, or no, I got to do the A. Gaffalione, think of Cody's wish and Cody himself. What a great story this is, right?
It really is. I thought it was so amazing on Derby Day. That was special. The grade one comes back, he wins the Met Mile, I believe it was, and he's a tremendous horse. It's a great story. Seeing Cody out there, see how happy it makes him. That's what it's all about, those kind of moments.
Now, I remember watching the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and when he won, and I was, that to me was the race of the championships. Not taking away anything. I don't care about it.
Believe me, I would agree.
But just there's something about it. I can't speak for everybody. I'm a person of faith. That connection that young boy has with this horse, and I think his father said something along the lines of, "This horse gives him the legs he doesn't have."
See, that just melts your heart.
Exactly. It like right now, it can get me teared up, but I'm looking forward very much to seeing his performance in the Whitney this weekend. Lon wants to know, Tyler, will you ever switch your tack to New York?
Yeah, you never know. Right now, I just kind of go where my agent tells me to. We have a really nice schedule. We spend the winters in Florida, summer here, and rest of the year in Kentucky. So it's pretty nice right now. So we'll have to see.
Let's talk about real quick from what you're up to. How's Cassie's showing going? I have to ask.
Going good. She had a show this past weekend. She had a lot of fun. She did her first show with her warm blood, so that was pretty exciting.
Now, I know you told me before that she got you involved in terms of being her cheerleading section.
Yes.
Has she gotten you to enter a show yet?
No, no.
Is
My
it
agent
ever a
told me,
possibility?
maybe when I retire, but right now, my agent would not go for it.
Well, well, you see, Ocean Murphy, he was during his downtime, he was showing horses.
No, that was incredible, and so he's so talented. That was amazing to see.
It blew my mind. Well, did you see when he also did like a race analysis or a race, like he was
Oh,
talking through a
he's
race?
he's incredible. I think he's brilliant. Great rider, great horseman. It seems like I'm a
And
big
you're going
fan
to be
of.
riding against him again this weekend.
Yeah, he's a tough guy.
Let's talk about some of your horses this week, huh?
Should be
Moving
exciting.
along here. If I can open my iPad back up. And by the way, can I just tell you, you're one of my favorite interviews.
Thank
You're
you.
just, I don't know, you just always, I feel like you're somebody who doesn't take anything for granted. You're very happy, but it's like you're enjoying the ride you're on. And I think people appreciate that, and that you've been also generous with your time and your insight. So I appreciate it. And I just
Thank
hope
you
you
for
know.
the kind words. I appreciate that.
Okay, so let's talk about, you're just loaded this week. We
It'll be
talked
fun.
about all the big races this past week, right? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So Wednesday, it's a full slate basically, but let's just talk about a few of the 2-year-olds because it is a 2-year-old show technically. We got a New York main special weight race 5 on Wednesday with Run for Your Honey. She's run before. You've only been on her once though. She's had 2 career starts. First on turf, she debuted 5 furlongs on the firm ground at Belmont. Then they ran her over good going on the main track, going 5.5 at Saratoga, and she was 3rd. She's now going to be going 8.5 furlongs on the turf. What are your impressions of this filly?
I like this filly. I like this filly. I was actually impressed with her last race. I got stuck down on the inside, drawing I believe I either had the 1 or the 2 hole that day.
It was you had the rail.
Yes, and really just never got a chance to get off of it. I got stuck in the pocket most of the way, and by the time we were able to find room, she was kind of tired of me fighting with her. She has a very good race that day, but I think the extra distance will be great for her. She'll be able to get out near close to the lead and be able to get more into a rhythm.
I think more ground makes all the sense in the world. Tapizar is the sire. Tapizar is by Taffet, and then she's have a Tisnell mare.
Exactly.
Let her run. Yeah, let her run. So she's actually 6-1 on the morning line. So based upon what you say, this is a horse who could really spice up things up, guys. So, again, that is Run for Your Honey, New York main special weight, going 8.5 on the turf in race 5 tomorrow. You've got a whole lineup of horses there. But again, since it's a 2-year-old show, let's go ahead now and go to Thursday, talking about race 1. That's a main special weight. 8.5 on the turf. I think this one's also New York bred. I'm not for sure. I'd have to double check. But this one, you're on the 7-horse Scoop the Pot for Mark Hennig. First time starter.
This one I don't know much about. I haven't been able to get on this horse. I'll speak with Mark, get some of his insight, and we'll come up with a game plan.
How hard is it for a 2-year-old to go 8.5 furlongs at first asking?
It can be pretty demanding, but Mark does a great job.
Yeah, he does.
I'm sure he has her plenty ready.
Okay, so that's Scoop the Pot. Also, let's see here, race 6. This is it's an interesting condition. It's a restricted main special weight for 2-year-old fillies, and it's based upon the sales price that they went through the ring for. 5.5 furlongs on the turf. This is for Wesley Ward. Stuck on You. She actually debuted way back in May at Churchill Downs on the dirt. This will be the first time you're getting aboard her. And this is now, again, a 5.5 furlong turf sprint. So any insight on this one?
This one, I'm sure Wesley would have liked to run her on the turf first time out. But at that time, Churchill wasn't riding those races for 2-year-olds. So it was good to get her the experience that day. I'm sure she'll prefer this a little bit more. But, riding for Wesley, they usually show speed. So it should be fun.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk about a graded stakes race. Race 9, Grade 2, Glen Falls. You're riding for Christophe Clement. You're riding Amazing Grace. This will be the first time you've gotten on her. She's had 3 starts since being brought over to the United States, and she's actually coming out of a good 4th place finish, 2 3/4 lengths beaten in the Grade 2 Belmont Gold Cup against the boys, going 2 miles. So, what do you think about this one?
I like this filly. I think the race will set up good for her. I loved her first race here in the States when she won at Gulfstream. I thought it was very impressive. It seemed like she didn't care for the softer ground in her second start.
Yeah, the Sheepshead Bay.
And it might have just been they got a lot of rain that day, so that could have contributed to that. And she ran a very credible race against the boys last time. 2 miles is very demanding. I couldn't imagine. So, I think the cutback will help with her. And like I said, I think we'll get a nice setup.
All right, well, that sounds good. Who do you feel is the main competition? I mean, this is a mile. It's funny when we're talking about cutting back. She's cutting back to a mile and a half.
I know. You don't say that too often, but in this case, it works.
No. I mean, the warlike goddess, right?
Obviously, she's the filly to beat. She don't really know what happened with her last time, but she's as consistent as they come. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, she'll be stretching out a mile and a quarter. I love it. What is it like to ride these marathon grass races? I mean, what we would consider today to be a marathon grass race.
I love these races.
Yeah,
they're some of my favorite to ride. That's why I like Kentucky Downs. We run quite a bit of them, but you can allow the horse to get into a stride. You don't have to. It's more of a rider's race, I feel like.
Well, I mean, I think it's cool because you really get to see some of the game playing, because right, it's all about the pace in there, and you're just waiting. You don't know what's going to go on. So, I'm sorry, I don't want to ignore people. You got fans. Favorite jockey, past and present, other than yourself. You got to love yourself, but if not you.
I would have to say Jerry Bailey. He was the most influential rider growing up. I idolized him. If not him, probably Garrett Gomez or Ramon Dominguez.
Wow. Well, in what ways, when you say, you modeled yourself, like what was it that you took away from their style?
Different things from different guys. I loved how aggressive Garrett was finishing. Jerry thought out the perfect race, and Ramon was so quiet and got so much run out of his horses without really having to do much.
Yeah, I know, right? And going back to Garrett, one of the most memorable rides was aboard Blame because
incredible.
He was hurt.
I watched it last night.
You did?
I watch his replays all the time, but that one's a classic. And then listening to the post-race interview.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so sad. I mean, obviously, well before it, what we'd ever want to see him leave us. But to know that he rode that race and he was able to finish. I mean, it was a heartbreaker, of course, for all Zenyatta fans.
Yes, I was one myself, but
yeah,
I mean, you have to love it.
It was just so incredible. And then when you realize that he was hurt riding, it blows your mind, right?
Different mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember somebody says pain is weakness leaving the body. So whenever
my dad's big on that.
I just try. But I don't do anything close to what you all do. So the most pain I'm feeling is the indigestion from having eaten my food, and I don't think that's just pain leaving. I'm not gonna go.
No, that'll get you.
I went too far with that one. Let's see. Cena says, "Hey Tyler, this Cena, by curiosity, how did you like racing at Ellis Park this year?"
I thought it was great. Honestly, I loved going there. The only downside I would say was the 2-hour drive. That wasn't my favorite, but once you get there, the fans are great. It's kind of a low-key place. It's very comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Richard's saying, I love Jerry Bailey. Also, he had his first winner at Sunland Park, New Mexico. I'm from La Cruces. Cigar and Bailey will go down in history as top 10 of all time. Cigar was he was an awesome horse, and they're linked. Do you feel like who's your horse so far? I mean, you're still so young. You're 28 years old, I think, right?
Yes, 28.
Okay. Are you going to turn 29 this year, or are you 20? Do you turn 28 this year?
I'll be 29 in September.
Okay, well, you're still young. So, but do you feel so far in your career you've had a horse that, I mean, maybe it's not to Cigar level, but like your horse?
It's hard to say. I guess you would have to say War Will because of the Preakness Stakes, but
Yeah.
you know, I feel a connection with all of them. It's been so special, and yeah, I'm just fortunate
I
to see it on them.
that was that horse's athleticism
That
in the
was definitely
Derby
him. Yes,
for not going down.
that was all him.
Oh my
He saved
gosh.
us.
Did you have that flutter of moment of, oh my gosh?
I was just waiting for it. It was
Oh, you could see it playing
not our
out.
best moments.
But that horse, again, he was just so athletic. And then for him to come back and win the Preakness, the grade 1 winner on multiple, I mean, on dirt and turf. And he's such a cool horse.
I know, and I can't wait to see his babies. I'm
I
so
know.
excited to start riding them.
They're flashy. Oh, he's over there. For those of you who don't know, Warville obviously retired. He's standing there at Claiborne Farm and just gorgeous babies. Wait, it is Claiborne, right?
Yes.
Okay. For a second, I was like, because that was the part of the thing I think that was so nice was because they have War Front and then he's a War Front. And so you're bringing in the son and the, yeah. When's the last time you got to go see William?
It's been a while, but we are actually planning on going over there this fall.
Oh, that's nice. I have this funny, I'm not going to play it because I don't have it queued up, but I have a funny video from, it was before the Classic. And I was hanging out with him and Shane. You know Shane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was giving him his pep talk. And I was telling him how beautiful he was and that he could win this. And
I gave him quite a few of those myself.
Yeah. I mean, at least he was into the cuddle. He was into the cuddle. You know, he just was like the head scratch. But obviously, we didn't get the Classic done. But what a tremendous talent he is. And that is, I will say this, as a pedigree person, I will not get into it for all of you right now, but his pedigree is one of the deepest pedigrees in the book. So the fact that he's at stud right now, also being a son of Warfront on top of it, like you said, I'm so excited to see his babies run. Stoked. Okay, so we'll move on now. And let's see, because again, you're loaded here. And then I'm going to let you go because I said it was going to be about 30 minutes, but I got you at 37. Okay, so I hope you're not missing any prime television.
No, it starts at 8.
Oh, what are you watching?
We're on Peacock TV right now. We're
watching
this show, Friend of the Family. It's actually pretty interesting.
I haven't heard of it before.
Check it out. It's good.
Okay, Matt and I we find ourselves lulled into watching either House Hunters or Shark Tank.
I've been holding off Love Island for like a week, and I don't know how much longer I can go. The wife's persistent.
Oh, the reality TV has struck.
Yeah, it's that time.
The household. I feel so bad for watching. There are certain shows I watch, and I feel so bad watching them, but at the same time it's like you've started to watch it, so now you feel you're kind of invested in like these people.
That's the thing, like I'm so hesitant to start, but once you're in it, it's like now I gotta know what happens.
I know. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Well, I think this goes back to what we were just saying. Birdie says, what has been your favorite horse to ride and why? Is it William?
War Will is amazing, but probably my favorite horse to ride would be Gunite. He's such a dude. He's got a great personality. He's as consistent as they come. We haven't been able to get the big one together, but I feel like he's well capable.
No, it can for sure happen. Now let's move along to the 4th here. You're in a main special weight. Is this a 2-year-old with Wicked again for Steve Asmussen?
I believe he's 3.
That one's 3. Okay, well, we still want to hear about him because Steve Asmussen horses and main special weights are something to watch, yes?
Yes. He's actually a brother to Wicked Halo.
Okay, well, that would make a lot of sense. You know, and the other thing was the Steve horses, you can always tell a Steve horse. Any horse coming from that barn, they all have that look. It doesn't matter what color they are, whether they're bay, chestnut, gray, they all have the look. Have you? Yeah. I mean, it really is amazing. Yeah. So let me see here. I'm making sure I'm on the right day. Okay. So then, that was actually where we were talking about. You got stuck on you in race 2. So this is on the 4th. I'm going to keep moving on down the card is what we're talking about. I know you got Yaqui Valley. That's Mike Maker. I believe that's well, but you're named on 2 horses in race 2. So is one an off? Let's see here. Is one at?
Probably one's a main track only.
Let me double check that because I have the list here. Today was a crazy day. I don't need to get into it for y'all on in the whatever social media verse this is, but it's been a crazy day. So getting the finite points, I have the list. How do you keep it straight when you're riding X amount of horses per day? My goodness.
I usually take it one day at a time. Like today is Tuesday. I went through Thursday's entries this morning, watched some replays, and I'll wait for tomorrow to start Fridays.
How important is it to watch those replays? I mean,
very important. Very. Not only do I watch the horse I'm riding, but I'll pick a couple horses, trying to find one to follow depending on the way my horse runs. See how fast the other speed is, how easy they do it. You can learn a lot.
What do you think we handicappers get wrong?
I think you guys do a pretty good job. You do a lot better than me. I know how to ride my horse, but I can never pick a winner.
Oh gosh, you give yourself more credit because you make winners. Yes, yeah, that Jockey Valley from Mike Maker is on main track only. So if we got rain, but I don't think there is. It's not. Is it? I don't think we're supposed to rain till Thursday.
No, I think we should be pretty good. Last time I looked, it looked pretty clear. It's supposed to be a pretty nice week.
Okay. Well, that's hopefully going to stay the case because we're coming up. So race 3, you've got Money Mike in a claiming race for Chad Summers. Then you're on Carmichael for Robertino Diodoro. Race 5, race 7, Caroline Street for Joseph O'Brien. And this is in the Fasig-Tipton Saratoga Oaks Invitational Grade 3 event. How did this come about?
I ride quite a bit for Mark DeTample. Fergus Galvin runs his stable, and he also runs Qatar Racing. I ride for Fergus as well. He's a good friend of ours. But he made the connection. I rode a couple horses for Joseph last year at Kentucky Downs and Saratoga. So we have a little bit of history. He does a great job. I'm thrilled for this opportunity. Looks like a very nice filly. So hopefully we can get a little bit lucky.
Yeah, I know she's coming out of a really hot grade. I mean, Group 1 against Blue Rose Sen. So
exactly. I mean, that says it all right there.
Exactly. So that was the Prix de Diane Longines there at Chantilly. And so listen, is this the race where, okay, Kachira's back. We've got All American Beauty in there with Johnny V aboard. Okay, American Sonia. I'm looking at the names here. Gosh, you've got a lot of Aspen Grove. That's Oisin Murphy's in town. Yes. They won the Belmont Oaks Invitational last out together on July 8th. And crazy that she went off 15-1, that horse.
I remember her that day. I actually rode the race Philly for Grand Motion that I was very high on. We weren't very lucky that day, but I was very impressed with this filly, the way she warmed up, her presence on the track. She caught my eye, and watching the replay was super impressive and a great ride by Oisin.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was a sensational win. And a horse also coming out of that race who ran, I thought, really well. And for mutual friends of ours, the DJ Stable, Papilio, yes. She's going to be back, and Javi's back aboard. She only got beat a length that day herself. So this looks like a really good race.
Now, Saratoga, they're known for putting up these kind of races.
Yeah.
So it'll be very exciting.
I agree with you. Okay, so moving along to the next one. Carl Spackler there in the National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame, another graded stakes race, this one a grade 2 on the inner turf. Tell us about this horse.
This is a family horse, actually. This will be the first time that I'm on him. I was supposed to ride him in his first couple starts, but I was traveling to Saudi Arabia and Dubai at the time.
Sorry, my 5-year-old again, and she's demanding I look at something. Ava, I'm doing an interview. Oh, thank you for showing me your giant pom-pom. Thank you. Okay.
Priorities.
We got her an arts and crafts set so she can make, little cute stick figures and things, and it comes with these little pom-poms, and she puts eyeballs on them. And anyway, so talk to us about what we're really tuned in for here with Carl Spackler. I'm so sorry.
No, that was great. But He's a very talented horse. It looks like it'll be my first time on him. He ran against Farbridge in his first
Yeah.
start. He's ran a great race on Derby Day in a loaded American turf. Had a wide draw. We're unfortunately drawn wide again this week, but
Yeah.
hopefully we can get a smooth
Well,
trip into the first turn and see what happens.
the fact, I mean, okay, well, it's Chad Brown. Chad Brown's going to have his horse ready, thankfully, because I mean, he's coming off that layoff from the American turf. And while he was eighth that day, he was only beaten 4.5 lengths ultimately, which is not bad. The fact that he ran so well on debut, I think that bodes well. And it looks like he's working really well. Have you been on him in the morning?
I haven't been on him in the morning, but a good friend of mine, Peter, he gallops him, works him, and he's been raving about him for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I know he's very excited.
Last two works, bullet drills there over the turf course. And so, yeah, I mean, who else we have? Do you know how Richard Mullen is doing by chance? He was named aboard Mysterious Night for Appleby.
He had quite a few injuries. I saw a couple vertebrae, ribs, I think a wrist maybe.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
I mean, I watched that live and it was so upsetting to see. And then we heard the news that he was moving all of his limbs and was conscious. So you can breathe a little sigh of relief, but it still doesn't mean that they're going to be back in action. And so hopefully, you know, he everything goes smoothly in terms of recovery and that he's back riding. I mean, this is the lifestyle, right? And if you don't ride, you can't really. This is again why organizations like PDGF and it is so important.
Definitely, like you said, it's a sad reality of our sport. These things happen, but hopefully he has a quick and healthy recovery, and hopefully we'll see him again soon.
How's it for your family and Cassie watching you ride? Because I know, I mean, I love horse racing. I love it. I could certainly not sit there though and watch my husband or my kid ride.
I think it's just one of those things you try not to think about it. Just enjoy it while you can.
No, absolutely. But this is again another one of those loaded races. Talking about Oisin as we were before, he's aboard Ocean Vision for Tim Donworth. That's a horse who's coming over from France, last fifth in the Prix-Paul de Moussac Group 3 race over there. Chad also has a praise with Flavian aboard, coming out of that allowance win. It's a really nice race. And my friend Cherie DeVoe, she has a horse in there, More Than Looks, with Johnny B aboard. What a great jockey colony too.
No, it's amazing. It's so fun to ride here. It's great competing with these guys. Really makes you dig deep and find everything you can.
I'm sure it does. So I want you to be able to go watch your show. So I'm going to try to like speed things up.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. Well, you know when reality is calling.
Yeah, we got DVR for a reason.
That's right. I don't know if you even remember before DVR. I don't even know. Like you're that young, you might not recall, but there was a time. There was a time back in the day we could not record things unless you had the big VCR set up.
My grandma had one of those. It was awesome. I used to record every derby there was. I had them all in VHS tapes.
Oh my gosh, have you transferred them over?
No, I keep the classics.
Oh gosh, remember we transferred. I still remember the tapes, like my music and the tapes, and you'd have to get the pen and to wind it back, and then you would take the tapes and then you would burn it to a CD, and then the CDs kind of became obsolete as well. So
I was thinking the other day when I used to have to download like a LimeWire, even though it was illegal, but everybody was doing it.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. Let's see here. What Breeders' Cup race was Tyler's favorite of all time? So you riding yourself. Obviously, I would think it would for you. I mean, it would Caravel or Wonder Wheel, or somebody else. Arazi, Zenyatta. Do you have a favorite race?
Mine probably would be Steinland.
Really? Oh, you went total left. Wow. Okay.
It changed my life. I wanted to become a good turf rider like Jose. I started watching all his replays. I thought it was the most incredible ride I had ever seen.
Oh my my gosh. I love that. All right. Well, I'll tell you one of my favorite races. It might not be my favorite race of all time. My favorite race of all time is very boring because it's most people's, and that's Secretariat in the Belmont. Just because you
fair.
sit there. Well, I mean, if you're watching it and you see a horse just totally obliterating any competition, and you think to yourself, my goodness, this horse has been graced with that type of ability, that type of talent. What can I as a human being be capable of having been blessed with, right? So it makes,
incredible.
yeah, it really makes you get deep and down in profound thought. But in terms of just horses and showing tenacity and grip, and I talked about this with Jose, who I had fun with Jose last week as well. Jose's great. And we were talking about how when he first, came over there to New York, and there was some mentorship with Angel Cordero. And I was telling him, well, one of my favorite stories with Angel, because I didn't even know this until I met Angel a couple of years ago myself. One of my favorite races before even having that conversation was Seattle Slew losing to Exceller in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. And obviously I don't like seeing Seattle Slew lose, but it was the way in which he did it that made it such a standout race. Oh, yeah. So,
It was incredible.
What I did not know.
Masterful ride by Angel.
Absolutely. But what I didn't know, and I'm guessing you do know, I didn't realize at the time he had lost a stirrup early into the race.
Yes.
I didn't know that until I talked to him, because I was telling him about how much I love that race. It's one of my favorites. He said, oh yeah, that's the one race that if I had back to do again.
He said that's why he showed so much speed.
But for a horse to dig down like that,
crazy. You just don't see that. You don't see that very often.
No, and it just I just
that's why I love the classics. Don't get me wrong, you still see these kind of horses every now and then, but it's so fun to go back and watch those.
Oh, I know. Well, a horse who was kind of like that, even though maybe he wasn't, this monolithic talent like a Triple Crown winner or anything like that, but just gutty horses, Private Zone.
Oh, absolutely. Just a hard knocking horse.
Yeah.
Every time, ran hard, ran fast. He was good.
And he was a teddy bear in the barn. So
really?
oh gosh, I went and I hung out with him because Mike, who just went by like Saratoga Mike, he let me go hang out with him at the barn, and he could not have been, more content to just put his head on my shoulder and chill.
See, that's cool.
The horse, not Mike, but and he was just, I just kind of felt this bond. And so when it came out a couple of years later, after he'd been retired, they had passed away, I legit sobbed. I was sobbing. I was so upset by it. But these are those horses. I mean, when they strike a chord with you, it sticks.
No, it does.
Richard saying Silent the Mile, trained by Lucas. How cool is it that Lukey is still not only training, but winning?
It's so cool. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world to start riding for him. I picked up a couple for him last year and rode a few this winter and in the spring.
What was it like?
It's amazing. He's Dwayne Lucas. He's horse racing.
Yeah. I really try not to ever get to the point of being like starstruck by another human being, because it's always just for me been the horses that, but Dwayne Lucas is a different, it's hard not to feel that moment of, oh my gosh, it's the coach.
Yeah. I have a funny story. When I was like 12, we went to OBS. It's a little track in Ocala.
Yep.
For the Happy Sales, but they hold races there like once a year. They used to.
Yeah, day champions.
Yes. So that year, it just so happened that John Velasquez and Todd Pletcher showed up, and we had to go to the race. I begged my dad, and of course he took me. And I remember running up to the rail, and after one of the races, I said hi to Johnny, and he said hello. And just in passing, I turned around to my dad. I was like, I can't believe it. I'm on the same ground as Todd Pletcher and John Velasquez.
And now look at you. You're riding against
pretty amazing.
It's amazing. It really is. Can I get your insight real quick since you mentioned Pletcher? How good is Ness to come back from such a long time away? I know that she was the pace, she could dominate that race because, it's a shorter field. We're not going to have that pace set up for Clairiere. But still, I mean, Dear goodness.
She's incredible. Incredible training job by Todd to bring her back off that kind of layoff and have her ready to fire against those kind of horses. And the fashion that she did it, she looked amazing. It was fun to watch. And like I said, she, regardless of the pace setup or whatever it was, Claire always fires.
I love her.
So talented, and that was just a fun race to watch.
Yeah, she's just beautiful too. I mean, both of them are beautiful.
They're absolutely stunning, but wow.
Yes. Okay. So to wrap up, so in case I've missed anything of importance that somehow I just overlooked it one way or the other that you're looking forward to, apart from, again, we've already mentioned Caravelle is going to be coming up, going against the boys again in the Troy, and this is going to be following that Jiper win against them. What a game horse she is. But is there anything else like happening this week or soon that you're excited about?
Yeah. So Pretty Mischievous is running in the test. We're cutting her back to 7 furlongs.
Yes.
It's pretty exciting. Should be a good race for her. She's been working great. And Spenderella will be coming back in the Beverly D. So a couple of things to look forward to.
I love it. Okay. So I only feel that it is fitting to end the show with Caravelle winning the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. I will say, I have a funny story real quick. You know, I'm friends with the owners of Golden Pal.
Right.
You know, Randy Lowe bred him. And so, of course, I have my rooting interest because actually I think I have a picture of Golden Pal that right there because I was able to go to the winner's circle with him when he won before. And in any case, so I'm running because I had done this event for you know, hosting like a meet and greet with Chris McCarron.
Okay.
And some other people. And so I'm running to try to make this to go watch the race live. And I'm in the grandstand. I'm trying to find stairs to run down. And the race is off. And he missed the break. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen now. And you guys just like gone.
It was unbelievable, to be honest. You never think that's going to happen. You hope for it. It rarely happens, and normally that horse fires out, but it was our day.
What is it like riding a horse of this talent?
It gives you so much confidence. You know, I won't lie, everybody gets nervous, you know. Yeah. These are big moments, and we work hard to get into these positions, so you want to make them count. And but a filly like her, she just gives you so much confidence. It's just one of the things you really look forward to.
And is there anything about her personality-wise that you can share with us?
She's a sweetheart with me. I've never had any issues, but I've seen her in the mornings with other people, and she can be pretty rough. She's a handful, but she's on race day. She's professional, and she does her job.
She's got a soft spot for Tyler.
I like to think so.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. Do you feel that when you get in the saddle, like when that leg goes up, do you and you pick up the slack of the rein, do you feel that instant connection?
It's usually once we get on the track. She's a little bouncy in the paddock, but she settles so great when she's out there, and she's a sweetheart to be around for me. But I'm sure others might have different stories.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you, Tyler. I just gotta thank you so much for your time. We're going to close out the show with the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. In the meantime, this has been your Future Stars Forecast, everybody, on this 2-year-old Tuesday, even though we're talking about some older horses too. And I look forward to seeing you in person there at Saratoga this weekend. Go get them.
Thanks so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everybody. We're going to share the screen and bounce on out.
In the Breeders' Turf Sprint, Golden Pal got left. Golden Pal broke last in the field. So a huge unexpected thing here. It is Caravelle who goes out for the early lead. Golden Pal is rushing up on the outside of Artemis City Limits. RSB Red is right up there too with Highfield Princess. Emirati Anna's down on the inside. Golden Pal has to come from off the pace. He hopped in the air at the break, and now he's 4 lengths behind, just to the outside of Highfield Princess. Then Flotus and Go Bears go. Taking up was Campanelli between horses. Creative Force, Noble Crown is next on the outside. On the far outside comes Oceanic. So they make their way to the top of the stretch here, and it's Caravelle who turns for home on the lead. Caravelle on top, a length and a half. Highfield Princess and Golden Pal, both with work to do. Our team of city limits, Emirati Anna is charging through an opening on the inside. By the 16th pole, Caravelle, Emirati Anna, these two with creative force, closing in the middle. It is going to be Caravelle to win the turf sprint over Emirati Anna. Creative